You are listening to the Objects of Affection collection. Study 89. Milan Design Week 2026 Guide. Best exhibitions at Salone del Mobile, Fuorisalone, and through the eyes of Objects of Affection. A high-level Milan Design Week 2026 guide to the best exhibitions at Salone del Mobile and Fuorisalone, with an Objects of Affection view on Brera, Alcova, Nilufar, Hermes, Loro Piana, and the design installations most worth seeing. The best question this year is not what will trend. It is which presentations still believe an object can carry meaning. Milan Design Week 2026, dates, structure, and why this year matters. As of 17 April 2026, Milan Design Week has already revealed its structure, its ambitions, and its anxieties. For anyone asking where to go, what to see, which districts to prioritize, and which exhibitions matter most at Milan Design Week 2026, the official calendar is split between the industrial gravity of Salone del Mobile, Milano at Rho Fiera from 21-26 April, and the citywide organization of Fuorisalone from 20-26 April. But in 2026, the old distinction between fair and city matters far less than it used to. The fair is no longer merely commercial, and the city is no longer merely atmospheric. Both are actively attempting to define what design means after the era of frictionless novelty, whether it remains a product category, becomes a broader cultural language, or hardens into a new form of authored value. From the perspective of the Objects of Affection collection Oak, this tension makes Milan Design Week 2026 unusually legible. OAC's public language is unwavering. An object should not merely fill space or perform style. It should arrive as a singular work, a thing with enough intention, material seriousness, and narrative weight to resist becoming décor contact. OAC's philosophy insists that objects should operate as artifacts and quiet witnesses inside a composed life. That demanding lens is exactly what makes Milan 2026 worth dissecting before the doors even open. The viewing logic that follows is therefore protocol-based rather than maximalist. Fair first, city second, archives last, so that novelty never arrives without context. Salone del Mobile 2026, the fair, the market, and the fight between industry and authorship. At the fairgrounds, Salone del Mobile. Milano 2026 remains enormous. More than 900 exhibitors from 32 countries, over 169,000 square meters of exhibition area, and the familiar backbone of the sector spread across the Salone Internazionale del Mobile, the International Furnishing Accessories Exhibition, the International Bathroom Exhibition, Euro Cucina/FTK, Technology for the Kitchen, Workplace 3.0's Project and Salone Satellite. But the 2026 edition adds something infinitely more revealing. The debut of Salone Raritas, an immersive collectible design platform curated by Annalisa Rosso with exhibition design by Forma Fantasma, alongside Aurea, an architectural fiction, and the strategic launch logic behind Salone Contract, spearheaded by Rem Koolhaas and David Janotton of OMA. Forma Fantasma's architectural lantern for Salone Raritas, creating a dedicated platform for collectible icons and unique objects within the heart of Salone del Mobile 2026. Milan is no longer pretending the categories are clean. The fair now houses factories, limited editions, bathroom systems, hospitality strategy, young designers, collectible one-offs, and architectural fictions under a single umbrella. For the casual visitor, this will read as abundance. For the serious observer, it reads as a market in the midst of a profound philosophical transition. Fuorisalone 2026. Why the city program matters more than ever. If Rho is the engine room, the city is the argument. Fuorisalone 2026 operates under the theme Be the Project and spans Brera Design District, Tortona Rocks, Tortona Design Week, Base Milano, Superstudio Design, 5 Isola Design Festival, Porta Venezia Design District, Durini Design District, Mosca Partners Variations, Alcova, Drop City ADI Design Museum, Trinale Milano, Convey, Zona Sarpi, Capsule Plaza and more. This is not a tourist menu. It is a live map of what Milan now believes design can be: collectible, commercial, theatrical, archival, critical, urban, food-driven, fashion-adjacent, research-oriented and institutionally self-aware. For Objects of Affection, the city is where the object is fundamentally tested. At the fair, one analyzes categories and scale. In the city, one evaluates atmosphere, authorship, and cultural intent. The city reveals whether a brand truly possesses a point of view, whether a gallery can elevate curation into argument, whether a designer can still make material feel uncanny, and whether a room can become something more resonant than an Instagram trap with flattering lighting. Best Milan Design Week 2026 districts: Brera, Alcova, and 5 Vi. The Brera Design District remains the polished centre of power, and one of the essential Milan Design Week 2026 districts for visitors trying to separate real design substance from branded noise. For many visitors, Brera will also be the easiest answer to the search query of where to start at Milan Design Week 2026. Its official 2026 guide lists 244 exhibitions, asserting names such as Hermes, Gucci, Loro Piana, Miu Miu, Jill Sander, Moncler, Cupra, Valcucine, Miele, Molteni and C, Smeg, Jessie, Flexform, Audemars Piguet and Grand Seiko. Brera is where luxury, design and culture converge to perform seriousness at scale. Alcova remains the city's absolute strongest testing ground for future value. In 2026, it brings 131 exhibitors across Villa Pestarini and the Baguio Military Hospital, framing the edition through rediscovery and experimentation, deep research, and contemporary material culture. It serves as one of the few major platforms brave enough to ask whether originality, ambience and craft can survive contemporary attention economics. 5 Vi under the banner Coty Qualia of Things steadfastly returns to author and collectible design, elite craftsmanship and the highly charged hybrid territory between art and design. In a week that habitually rewards sheer scale, 5 VIE actively rewards attention. Taken together, Brera, Alcova, and 5 VIE form the strongest shortlist of Milan Design Week 2026 districts for anyone with limited time and serious intent. In a week that often rewards scale, the most rewarding rooms will be the ones that still reward attention. Best Milan Design Week 2026 exhibitions and exhibitors through the objects of affection lens among the best Milan Design Week 2026 exhibitions on the fair side. The single most vital development for any serious guide is Salone Raritas. Officially described as a platform for collectible design, curated icons, unique objects and outsider pieces, it names participants including Nilufar, Salviati X Draga and Oral, Meremtsev Design Editions, Mercado Moderno Parasite 2. 0x Bianco 67 and Brun Fine Arts. A mainstream furniture fair carving out a curated space for collectible one-offs is not a decorative flourish. It is a formal admission that the language of value in design has fundamentally shifted. In the city, Nilufar stands out as one of the most OAC-aligned destinations and one of the best Fuorisalone 2026 exhibitions for visitors interested in collectible design, interiors, and the future of luxury. At Nilufar Depot, Nilufar Grand Hotel reinterprets hospitality through immersive interiors and collectible design. At Via della Spiga, La Casa Magica, curated by Valentina Sierfi with Studio Vedit and set design by Space Caviar, treats the home as a symbolic and ritual space. That vocabulary, ritual, re-enchantment, domestic archetype, makes Nilufar one of the week's most compelling and necessary visits. Hermes remains an essential stop, because it continues to treat domestic objects as sites of deep material seriousness, making it one of the strongest luxury house presentations at Milan Design Week 2026. Its official 2026 presentation at La Pelota centers on new home collections and Palladian de Hermes, where hammered metal, architectural lines, and the raw artisan gesture are elevated. Loro Piana also demands serious attention, with studies, Chapter I, on the plaid treating textiles not as soft lifestyle accessories, but as highly disciplined studies in process, technique and material thought. Jill Sander's reference library, created in collaboration with Apartamento, feels similarly aligned. Temporary, fiercely intellectual, sparse and entirely anti-spectacular. Read through the lens of the Milan Protocol, the strongest objects of affection stops are not simply the most luxurious ones. They are the exhibitions where material intelligence, curatorial framing, and ceremonial interiority converge in public. That is why Nilufar, Hermes, Loro Piana, and the most disciplined rooms of the Brera Design District matter more than a democratic sweep of every activation in town. Hospitality, collectible design, and the object after novelty at Milan Design Week 2026, one of the most revealing patterns of Milan 2026, is the sheer volume of exhibitors thinking through hospitality rather than merely furniture. Nilufar Grand Hotel, Aurea, an architectural fiction, the launch logic behind Salone Contract, the hospitality-centered talks at Alcova, Artemists L'Appartamento, immersive brand environments across Brera, and IKEA Food for Thought all suggest that Milan is asking how design constructs not just rooms, but entire modes of being received. That matters profoundly because atmosphere can either deepen the experience of an object or anesthetize it. The strongest projects this year appear to be the ones where material and mood remain inseparable rather than cosmetically paired. Molteni and C with responsive nature, Margraff's La Casa di Marmo, Cemento registered with Patricio Urquiola, Arpa registered with Federica Sala, and Aesop's The Factory of Light. Atmosphere is either the servant of meaning or its most elegant alibi. Milan Design Week 2026 Itinerary, an insider guide for readers searching for Milan Design Week 2026 itinerary, and for public visitors who want something better than mileage, the most useful protocol is restraint. Do not try to cover the week. Build each day around one fair objective, one city anchor, and one archival or reflective counterweight, so that novelty is always measured against context rather than consumed like weather. Begin at row with Salone Raritas. It is the fair's clearest, most urgent acknowledgement that collectible design now sits near the center of the conversation, not at its decorative fringe. If time permits, let the surrounding fairground visit serve one further question: which presentations still feel authored rather than merely manufactured? Do not pair row and alcova in the same rushed sweep. Return to the city and give alcova a dedicated half-day minimum. Its intelligence arrives slowly, through architecture, distance, fatigue and contrast. If you sprint it, you flatten it. From there, move to Nilufar. Seen after alcova rather than before it, both Nilufar Grand Hotel and La Casa Magica read less as scenography and more as arguments about hospitality, ritual, and the emotional charge of interior space. Only then move into the Brera Design District, and do so with preselection rather than drift. Use the district's density for precision, Hermes for material finish and artisan gesture, Loro Piana for textile intelligence and disciplined restraint, Jill Sanders' reference library for the kind of quiet conceptual rigor that refuses to beg for attention. If access permits, fold Prada frames into that Brera circuit, not as an add-on but as an intellectual hinge. The week makes better sense when the objects and the discourse are allowed to answer one another. Finally, close with Trinale Milano and the archive-minded orbit around the week. That closing move matters. A design week without memory becomes marketing weather. A design week returned to history can still tell you what deserves to endure. What Milan Design Week 2026 is really testing. The deeper issue at Milan Design Week 2026 is whether meaning has been fully outsourced to spectacle. That question is what separates a list of things to do in Milan during Design Week from a serious guide to the event. Not every elegant booth is serious. Not every immersive installation is intellectually alive. Not every collectible object deserves the name. The best presentations will be the ones where material, form, and intention remain utterly inseparable, where an object still feels authored, where atmosphere still serves the work, and where design remembers that its highest task is not to simply decorate life but to help compose it. That is the wager of Milan Design Week 2026. And at its absolute best, the week appears ready to make it. Authored by Christopher Banks, anthropologist of luxury, critical theorist and founder Objects of Affection Collection, Office of Critical Theory and Curatorial Strategy, 469 Fashion Avenue, 12th floor, New York, NY 10018. This has been a study from the Objects of Affection Collection, a critical art research institution operating under the framework of post-luxury conceptual functional art. Read the full research at objectsofaffectioncollection.com.